Hey guys, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about changing bicycle standards. What I mean by that is the different sizes changing. So since you can see this immediately in your view, let's start with stem and handlebars. So years ago, I think it was 28.6 was the standard, and then it went to 31.8, and then Raceface decided to make 35 millimeter the new standard. It seemed to be a great idea. It's a mountain bike. Why have the same diameter handlebar, same standard as a road bike? Why not make something beefier, so when you're making carbon bars you have a larger diameter bar that's going to take the abuse and be stronger? That makes sense. But what if you're not bombing down bike parks and downhill courses, and you're not 180, 250 pounds, and you're just a regular guy? And do you need to change your cockpit or change your handlebar and stem to just be with the new standard? And I say no, but you're almost forced into that as you buy a new bike, because they've actually pushed the industry into this new standard. And then you'll get people saying, well, everybody now uses 780 bars or 760 bars or 800 bars and 50 millimeter stem or 40 millimeter stems now, or 35 millimeter stems, and it's better, and this is why you should do it. You know what, you guys, you do you. I've been fine with what I have. I've never felt the need to go beyond 31.8 diameter. And as far as my stem, these are 50. I actually tried a 35 on this. I didn't like it, and I went back to the 50. But it's really, I think it's personal preference. And as you get into the hobby of mountain biking, don't get influenced by people that don't ride your same trails, don't ride like you, and don't do what you do on a bike. And try to negate maybe some old parts you had from your previous mountain bikes because of the new standards. That's what really aggravates me, is it seems like the industry is trying to make old stuff obsolete, and there's really no reason. And this was clearly the intention of the Boost 148 and the Boost 110, with fork dropouts 110 and rear dropouts 148. Some companies have kind of, and obviously this Escar Jaffe does that, and I've explained how Escar has that portage system, and other bike manufacturers have their interchangeable systems, realizing that a lot of people like to keep using their shit and don't want to buy a new hub just because it doesn't meet the standard, or try to find a conversion kit and see if that works because it doesn't meet the standard, and want to just use it as is. My Hadley hubs specifically won't change because they're a complete one-piece axle, but some of the hubs have end caps and they could change to the different standards. But it just depends on what hub and what bike you're bolting it on, or you're through axling it onto. With the front, it's a little bit easier, but is there a real benefit to having that wider axle, especially when you're not seeing the flanges go much wider on those new standardized Boost standards. Some of the flanges on the Boost are literally only about 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters wider than the non-Boost when you look at the specs. So that's very marginal, and I don't see the point. That's kind of the reason I don't mind spending the money on single speed hubs, because then the flanges really get out there, because you don't have that geared free hub body. And I think that's the reason also why Pivot and Noli and some other manufacturers, I think Evil, went with the Super Boost, because they felt that the Boost 148 was just not a significant difference, and they wanted the Super Boost 157 in order to make a stronger wheel and a stiffer rear triangle. And I see their point. And if I had a trail or all mountain or enduro full suspension bike, I would probably choose the Super Boost for that fact alone, and get the wheels that I think are going to make more sense for going super fast and having a big tire and a wheel that's not going to flex laterally. So these wheels on my single speed are super stiff, and they're great because it's that super wide flange Onyx that is a single speed specific hub, and the wheel is stronger. The other advantage of sticking with the same standards is it's better for the environment. You are not throwing away parts because they no longer sell the compatible forks and frames and other things to use those parts. You are keeping them alive, and I will go out of my way to find a frame or get a custom frame built to stick to the old standards when it comes to a hardtail, and that's where I stand my ground. I'd rather do that, help out the little guy, than buy some big industry bike from a big bike factory that just trying to get you to waste old stuff so they can make you replace it with new stuff. I don't agree with that. I think that's reckless and killing our environment. And I understand business is business. You want something new every year, but you can come out with other ways to innovate without creating new standards. Lots of industries do that. I mean, I think we're in for a big correction when it comes to e-bikes. They don't really have a standard charger and battery, and you will buy a specific e-bike that you are locked into that proprietary system. When will they come with a USB-C, a standard charger, a standard size battery that these guys make variations of? And that's why I would never get into the e-bike camp right now, and probably I'll bypass e-bike and go right for the Segway or the what is it, Telluride, the one that's more of a motorcycle, electric motorcycle. I think that's the way to go. just because I really feel like the motorcycle industry is going to take over the e-bike industry from the smaller bicycle industry, and be able to have it standardized the way they've standardized motorcycle parts. So that's just my opinion. You guys are welcome to have your opinion. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up and leave your comments below.